Step 5 is identifying the obligations. Identify the obligations involved and the reasons for each one. For example, in the layoff case, consider Pat's obligation toward the affected parties. When identifying Pat's various obligations, be sure to state the reason why she has this duty or obligation. Think in terms of values, principles, character, and outcomes. For example, if you're considering Pat's obligation to keep her promise to her boss, your reasoning might go like this. Pat shouldn't break her promise to her boss. If she does, the trust between them will be broken. Promise keeping and trust are important values in superior subordinate relationships. The obligations you identify will vary depending on the people involved and the roles they play. For example, our faith in our financial system depends in part on auditors' obligation to tell the truth about a company's financial difficulties, and our faith in the rating agencies to grade accurately financial instruments. Similarly, our faith in science as an institution depends on the integrity of the scientific data and how scientists report it. Individuals in these roles have strong obligations to tell the truth, and if they see themselves as moral actors, will be motivated to do so. Step 6. Consider your character and integrity. Here, think about yourself as a person of integrity. Ask yourself what a person of integrity would do in this situation. Attempting to answer this question, you may find it useful to identify the relevant moral community and consider what the community would advise. Begin by identifying the relevant professional versus societal community. Then determine how the community members would evaluate the decision or action you are considering. Remember the disclosure rule. It asks whether you would feel comfortable if your activities were disclosed in the light of day in a public forum like the New York Times or some other news medium. In general, if you don't want to read about it in the New York Times, you shouldn't be doing it. If you would be uncomfortable telling your parents, children, spouse, clergy, or ethical role model about your decision, you should rethink it. Thomas Jefferson expressed it like this: "Never suffer a thought to be harbored in your mind which you would not allow openly. When tempted to do anything in secret, ask yourself if you would do it in public for all to see. If you would not, be sure it is wrong." This kind of approach is especially valuable when a decision needs to be made quickly. Suppose someone in your organization asked you to misrepresent the effectiveness of your company's product to a customer. You can immediately imagine how a story reporting the details of your conversation with the customer would appear in tomorrow's paper. Would you be comfortable having others read the details of your conversation? The idea is to conduct business in such a way that your activities and conversations could be disclosed without you feeling embarrassed. Another method might be to ask, how will I be remembered when I'm gone? Many people don't often think about this question, but it's a good one. Will you be remembered as an individual of integrity? Students often don't realize how small professional communities can be. This is especially true in today's world of social networking. Although you will likely change jobs and organizations multiple times over the years, many people remain within a single industry where they have developed industry-specific expertise. A reputation for trustworthiness, respectful interaction, and integrity will open doors to new clients and career opportunities. But the opposite is true as well. Stained reputations are extremely difficult to overcome. Step 7. Think creatively about potential actions. Before making any decision, be sure you have not unnecessarily forced yourself into a corner. Are you assuming that you have only two choices, either A or B? It's important to look for creative alternatives. Perhaps if you've been focusing on A or B, there's another answer, C. In our layoff case, perhaps Pat could work with management to devise a fair system for alerting employees sooner, or at least she could advise them that information is forthcoming soon, and they should not make big financial commitments until the announcement is made. Perhaps she can advise her boss that she's hearing rumblings from the rumor mill and suggest moving up the timetable for telling employees. Another example. What if you received an extravagant gift from a foreign supplier? This situation could easily be conceptualized as an A or B quandary. Should you accept the gift, which is against company policy, or should you refuse it, which could be interpreted as a slap in the face by an important supplier who was from a culture where gift giving is a valued part of a business relationship? A potential solution might be to accept the item as a gift to the company that would be displayed in headquarters entrance, explaining that large personal gifts are against company policy. Obviously, you would have to check with your company about the acceptability of the solution. The idea is to think outside of the box. Here's another example. In an overseas location, XYZ Engine Company was having difficulty with local children cutting through a wire fence and stealing valuable electronic components. The A or B solution was to arrest or not arrest these young children when they were caught. After involving the community, the managers were able to arrive at a solution. They discovered that the children were stealing because there weren't enough classrooms at the school, leaving the children with little to do but get into trouble. XYZ Engine Company made classrooms available on their site. The mayor provided accreditation, books, and teachers. This C solution cost the company very little and accomplished a great deal. A total of 350 students were accommodated, the stealing problem disappeared, and the engine company became a valued corporate citizen. And step 8, check your gut. The emphasis on these steps has been done using a highly rational fact-gathering and evaluation process. Once you know the facts about an ethical dilemma. But don't forget about your gut. We are all hardwired to be empathic and to desire fairness. Empathy is an important emotion that can signal awareness that someone might be harmed. And intuition is gaining credibility as a source for good business decision making. We can't always say exactly why we're uncomfortable in the situation, but years of socialization have made us sensitive to situations where something just doesn't quite feel right. So if your gut is sending up red flags, give the situation more thought. This may be your only clue that you're facing an ethical dilemma to begin with. Pay attention to your guts, but don't let it make your decision for you.